right to rob someone's store or burn their vehicle. You just like that's that's not even directing your anger at the right person. So I don't know why they're doing this. It's a bad idea. It should be condemned, and the police will necessarily respond to it.
And I think Karen Bass did an amazing job condemning it. She said there's nothing about what I'm saying that this, like blocking a highway, burning a car, none of that is appropriate. That's not the type of protesting that we appreciate and have always embraced here in Los Angeles. But this was all about optics. This wasn't actually about getting anything accomplished, because it's problematic to skip over Gavin Newsom, to skip over Mayor Bass and not tell them what's happening and what the plan is forward. The most troubling thing she said to me was in an interview last night. Karen Bass was like, I just don't know what's next, or what the National Guard is supposed to be doing, or what federal decisions are being made for state leaders. And just to be clear, just because you oppose National Guard or military deployment into local neighborhoods does not mean that you're pro-crime. It means that you think that state and local police can do their jobs and handle it.
It sounds like the local police
need to agitate. No, they can.
It sounds like the local police do want the National Guards to help.
Because now it's already been agitated, and then these aggressors are ruining the movement that automatically was just saying, let's just try to figure out how to do this by due process and constitutionally. And what I think that we're missing is that President Trump is sending the National Guard prior to needing it. When we look at past incidences, like in 1992, the riots, or in Hurricane Katrina, the president at the time worked closely with the mayor and governor because they requested national and federal help. They requested that. President Trump has a habit of skipping over important steps to get things accomplished the way our government works. From Congress to local mayors, you need to work with governors in order to have an appropriate response. These people have to live underneath the governor that's leading at the time. And so President Trump skipping them not only sends a message to the world that we are uncoordinated and unorganized, but it also tells agitators, okay, I'm going to already take it here, like it needs to be treated like a foreign country, and then the worst of us come out and do things like what they did. Because I don't think the first 2 days of protesting were like anything like what we saw yesterday.
I would just say your timeline of protest there skips over what many conservatives say is the most relevant one, the Black Lives Matter riots, for which there was a desire among the people living in cities where widespread rioting and looting took place for greater police protection, including with sending in the national troops, an idea Tom Cotton expressed in the pages of the New York Times, if you remember that got the op-ed editor fired for having dared to let Tom Cotton write this opinion that if you polled most people in the country, a majority of poll respondents agreed the national troops should be brought in to stop rioting. When you talk to people in these communities, when you talk to low-income Democrats, black people in the communities, the people who actually have to live with the rioting and the looting, they say, no, please get the government more involved. We don't want that. Nobody wants this except affluent, white, liberal, progressive activists.
And a National Guard maybe then should have been called on all the January 6th insurrectionists as well, right? The ones that Trump pardoned. So we can have this conversation in circles over and over again. No, that was also inappropriate and rioting by all standards, okay?
You think the law enforcement response was inappropriate?
No, I think that they were rioting and that the National Guard should have been called on them also then. This is the same person that makes the decision. Trump didn't do that in that moment, and he's doing it now unnecessarily. That was way worse than this.
Well, so wait a minute. There's a dispute over how...
Yeah, I know there's a dispute.
Conservatives will say that they wanted to bring in a greater police presence, and that Nancy Pelosi thwarted that, and that local Democratic leaders didn't want that. So I don't think Republicans are saying there shouldn't have been more police there for January 6th.
Well,
I think they're saying the whole thing would have never happened had they had the police response that Republicans wanted and Democrats prevented.
So you think we should just have military parading around our streets of America, and that's supposed to be normal, skipping over governors and mayors for making big decisions like this and just having military presence?
Absolutely not.
That sounds like a dictatorship.
Absolutely not, but it can't be normal to set cars on fire and occupy government buildings and block highways and loot stores. The police should and will respond.
Well, that's why we have local police that can handle it.
And I would hope the local police do a good enough job so that the feds are not necessary. I agree with you that it shouldn't be the first resort to send in federal troops to every kind of dispute. But I think a lot of these Democratic-controlled areas have proven that they are not capable, including, especially in California, where there's rampant crime and stores being looted all the time, and decay and homelessness and drug addiction out in the streets everywhere. I think they've demonstrated that they can't necessarily take care of the problem.
To be continued, Robbie. We'll keep talking about this.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia has officially been returned to the U.S., but Democrats may not be ready to celebrate the news just yet. Stay with us.